Now here we're going to see a crimping operation on a network cable. So the tools involved in this operation, again, the data T cutter or any cable cutter. If you're pulling the cable out of a box of cable or something and you've got to trim it to different pieces, then you may use the cable cutter for that. Cable stripper to strip back the jacket and get access to the wires. Pair of scissors for trimming the wires, as you'll see, and of course the crimping tool itself. The consumables for this operation include a couple of plugs and a piece of media to install the plugs on. Now if you notice, this piece of media already has a plug installed, so we have to install the other end. When I look at this plug, I see the color code: orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown, which makes this, following the 568B standard, the more common standard. So if we want to make a straight through cable, what do we have to install on this end over here? We have to install 568B. Okay, so let's get to work on this. So first thing we're going to do, we don't need to trim anything, so we can put the data T cutters out of the way. I need to get access to my wires. So I'm going to strip back the jacket here. Take it back, score the jacket, pull off the piece. We are good to go there. Alright, now some people like to trim this stuff that kind of looks like poorly made dental floss to get that out of the way. Especially if it starts sticking to your fingers, that can be a bit of a problem. Alright, so now we begin to untwist the wires. Orange, white, orange are the first color that we're going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead and untwist them. And I'm going to start to hold things in position, because in the end I'm going to have my 8 wires in a certain order here. So orange, white, orange, and then we go green, white. And we put the green aside. So I'm going to go green, white, once I get that baby untwisted. Green, white, put the green over there, put the brown over there, and now get to that blue pair. Alright, so orange, white, orange, green, white, and then blue. If you think about it, the color code actually goes in a solid white alternating pattern. And when I say white, I mean the white wire that has the different color on it. Alright, so orange, white, orange, green, white, and then blue, white, and now we bring the green back into play. So we're splitting that green, and we're putting it on both the 3rd position and the 6th position. Alright, so my orange kind of traveled on me a little bit there, and it'll do that. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, and green. Okay, got them in order, just kind of working them a little bit to make them lay down for me and behave. Alright, brown, white, and finally brown. I'm holding these tightly. I probably have, what, half of an inch, 5/8 of an inch that I'm clamping my thumb onto to hold things nice and flat there. Alright, so let me check my color order again just to make sure before I even trim. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, and brown, white, and brown. So I got to get these things to lay close together because they're going to be trimmed and then put into the back of this plug. So you can see the space here is not very big. So I want to make sure my 8 wires are close together. They're laying kind of flat. Make them behave. And I think I'm ready to trim. So now I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to open them up all the way. I don't want to try to just get on the end here. It's too hard to do. I want to open them up and get the scissors on there. They work a lot easier that way. Alright, the other thing to think about is when you trim these, you certainly don't want to go at an angle one way or the other. You pretty much have to go perpendicular right across there. If you don't go perpendicular, then when you put the wires into the plug, they're going to look like the Verizon more bars and more places as they go across there. And you want them all to be in there all the way. All right, so one last time, orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. We're looking good. All right, so I'm going to take my scissors, trim them off, nice and perpendicular, and now I'm not going to release the wires. I'm going to hang on to them and get my plug positioned right there. And then I'm going to start to push them right into place and make sure that they go in all the way. You should be able to look at the end of the plug here and see all 8 wires coming right to the end. Now if you notice, when I held the plug, I could see the contacts at me, right? They were facing at me. And so the tab was away from me. If I did it the other way around, then I'd be putting in the wires 180 out, and you don't want to do that. You want to make sure the wires are in the correct order, and the tab should be down, and that'll make them be in the right order. Okay, so I'm kind of wiggling, pushing, trying to get them in there all the way. And now I'm going to go right into my quality assurance check, because there's 3 things I want to check to make sure are correct, or my cable's not going to pass. All right, first thing is color code. Well, we've looked at that how many times now, and we think it's good, but it doesn't hurt to look at it one last time, because once you crimp, you've crimped, and you can't pull it off and move one wire. So if your wires are out of order, you can pull the plug back off, fix it, and then put it back on. As long as you didn't crimp, you're okay. Okay, so let me look at it. Orange, white, orange, green, white, blue, blue, white, green, brown, white, brown. Okay, everything looks good there for color code. Okay, now, second thing to check, did my wires go all the way into the end? When I look at the end, I can see 8 little brass wires all the way to the end of the plug. That's good. If you can't quite make that out, a technique is to take the plug, hold it up, and look through the back side, hold it up against a bright light, look through the back side, and you can see those 8 wires in there, and you can see that they all go right to the end. You'll probably see me do that in the classroom as I check your work. The last thing to check for the quality assurance, right, the QA part, is there's a crimp point right here that when you crimp the plug, a couple of things happen. One of the things that happens is this crimp point is pushed down against the cable. If you look at this one that's already done, you might see the crimp is pushing against the jacket, and that creates some stress relief there to help hold things in place. You know, the other thing that takes place when you crimp a plug, besides the crimp point here, is the 8 contacts that are here. These are all in the up position, right? They're if you look at the, maybe you can see, but when you have the plug in your hand, you can definitely see. There's 3 teeth that are at the bottom of each one of these brass contacts, and when you crimp the plug, all 8 contacts are pushed down, and they pierce the wire and make the connection. All right, so it's a different kind of operation than the punch down, but the wires have to be in there far enough so that when you do the crimp and you press the 8 things down inside, the 8 conductors down inside there, that they do penetrate the jacket correctly and make the contact onto the wire. All right, so those 3 things again, the color code, are they in all the way, and the crimp point for the jacket. Those are the 3 things to check. All right, so I think I'm ready to go. I'm going to open up my tool, make sure it's fully extended, and then I take my plug and it goes into the tool in the front, tab side, right here's the tab side, that goes down, right, and it goes in just like that. Now, once I get it in there, I'm going to wiggle it, I'm going to push on it, I'm going to make sure those, you know, those wires are truly in there as far as they can go. The other thing that I'm going to do just before I crimp is make sure my wire is right in the middle of the plug, right? And then I'm going to hold it there, go through the crimping operation, open it back up, and now I have a fully crimped plug onto a piece of media. I've got a cable that's ready for testing. Okay, that's all I wanted you to see here. We're going to do some more videos with the network cable testing. I hope that you got something out of this.